Hey everyone, welcome to lesson 3 where we'll be talking about equitable compensation. So, what is equitable compensation? Equitable compensation refers to a system of compensation that's fair and just. It's about making sure employees' pay is based on skill and experience and the value they bring to the organizations, not on characteristics like gender, race, sexual orientation, newcomer status, or disability. The goal when it comes to equitable compensation is to make sure our biases aren't affecting the way we compensate our employees and that employees in similar roles with similar qualifications are receiving similar pay. To learn more about bias, check out the first lesson of Module 2 titled Bias and Stereotypes. Equitable compensation plays a huge role in terms of building trust and between employers and employees. It also has a big impact on morale. When employees feel that their pay is fair or just, so when they feel it matches industry standards or reflects market evaluation of their skills and expertise, they're going to be more satisfied with their job and their organization. They'll feel a greater sense of commitment or connection to their work. In other words, they'll be more engaged, and since an employee that's highly engaged is less likely to develop their job, that is going to help minimize turnover. So, equitable compensation helps us sustain talent. When an organization doesn't prioritize equitable compensation, bias is going to affect the way employees are paid. Meaning, some employees, namely those who are white, straight, and cisgender, are going to be paid more than others for equal work. Naturally, this is going to foster resentment and frustration. Employees will eventually leave to seek better opportunities elsewhere with organizations that do, in fact, prioritize equal pay. Prioritizing equal pay is also going to help your organization avoid the legal challenges and reputational damages that are often the result of unequal pay structures. So, here are a couple of strategies to help reduce bias when it comes to compensation. First, establish clear objective criteria. This means setting salary ranges for each position based on industry standards, the organization's budget, and the requirements of that role. This is going to help ensure decisions around compensation are based on clear, objective criteria rather than subjective judgments. Second, use data driven metrics like sales or project completion when deciding on compensation. This is going to help us avoid letting factors like race or gender influence pay decisions. Third, strategize compensation reviews by creating a structured review process that can be applied to all employees, including leadership. Evaluating everyone using the same framework is going to reduce the risk of biases creeping into the decision making process. I'd also recommend putting together a compensation committee with people from different areas of the organization so that there is more than one person that is reviewing an employee's pay. This is going to reduce the likelihood of any one individual biases affecting the outcome. Fourth, conduct regular pay audits. So, analyze data across gender, race, disability, and other social categories to identify gaps and or disparities. And if you find a pay gap, take action to rectify it. For example, by adjusting salaries and apologizing to those who've been underpaid. I'd also recommend checking to see whether your organization's pay scales match industry standards. So, how do they compare to other organizations in the same sector? We want to be sure that the pay we're offering is equitable and on par with our competitors. Otherwise, we risk losing people to those competitors. The last thing I'd recommend is going out and communicating the company's new compensation structure to employees, outlining factors that influence decisions around pay. This transparency is going to help hold leaders and other stakeholders accountable so that pay equity becomes a reality and we can reap its benefits in terms of engagement and retention. This brings us to the end of lesson 3. Thanks for watching. To learn more, be sure to check out the HR toolkit linked in the conclusion section. I'd also recommend checking out the video about bias that I mentioned before, which you can find in the first section of Module 2. This video is about flexible work arrangements. A flexible work arrangements allows employees to determine their own hours and location. So instead of adhering to a traditional 9 to 5 schedule, they can also choose where they start and end their workday. So whether they work from home, from the office, the library, their friend's apartment, or a cafe. Flexible schedules make it easier to achieve work life balance in that it provides flexibility in terms of appointments, caregiving, episodic disabilities, and more. So if you had to pick up your children from school at 3:30, you could leave at 3, return at 4, and make that time up later on. Or if you had an episodic disability and were experiencing a flare up, you could work half a day and make the time up on the weekend. Different people approach flexible scheduling differently. So while one employee might adopt a compressed scheduling, working 10 hours a day for 4 days out of the week, others might adopt a schedule that allows them to work, say, 6 or 7 hours a day for 6 days out of the week. And while some might enjoy working different hours on different days, while others might like the ritual of working the same hours every day. Some employees like starting their days early, while others prefer to start later. Some prefer staggered hours and will take a long break during midday, resuming in the evening, while others would rather do their work all at once so that they have their evenings to themselves. Everybody is different, and flexible work arrangements allow people to pick hours that work for them. These arrangements also allow them to pick locations that work for them. Because while some people like being able to go into an office, others prefer to work from home. Remote work, or also known as telecommunication or telecommuting or teleworking, is when employees can perform their job duties outside of the traditional office environment. So all they need in order to do their job is internet access. Remote work allows employees to work from home, which for some people is where they are most productive.